What do I do when a deal goes sideways? That's a great question. And in this week's video, we're going to look at a real estate deal that almost didn't close. And we're going to talk about why and what you should do about it. I'm here with my good friend and client, Matt. We just closed on this condo, but we almost didn't close. So there was some interesting things that happened, and I really thought we should take the opportunity to talk about that today. So Matt, maybe you can kind of give us the high level what happened.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was connected with a mortgage broker who, through someone that I'd used previously on a previous sale, of course.
Not my recommendation.
Not Paul's recommendation. When we bought the place, we had to act quickly and we had to waive the financing conditions. That seems to be normal.
Unfortunately, that's the way it goes right now.
That's the way that it happens in Toronto. So we waived the financing conditions, and based on information that I had from an earlier conversation with this other mortgage broker, we felt confident that we'd be able to close. After probably 2 weeks of progress going through the mortgage process with this other broker, started to notice things going sideways. And that's when I reached out to Paul.
Was smashed.
I reached out to Paul right away, and Paul also sort of agreed with the troubling facts that I was seeing, the lack of progress.
And the truth is, like, if you're not working with the people I know, it makes me nervous, like, instantly, because I know when that things can go sideways sometimes. So that's why I was like, uh-oh.
Absolutely. So Paul has a great network of people, connecting me right away with a good colleague of his, Ruth, and Ruth was able to bring my deal in on time. So thank you.
You're welcome. So, and without getting in like too much of the nitty gritty, maybe you can just kind of help folks out a little bit, like, you know, what happened, how did things kind of go off the rails?
Yeah, well, one of the things that was a big factor in my case is I'm recently separated, and the terms and conditions of my separation agreement became input into my mortgage application. So that was a bit of a game changer for me. I have payments to my ex built into my separation agreement, and those needed to be factored into my mortgage application. And definitely those payments significantly reduced my buying power. So a mortgage that I would have expected to be a little easier became more of a challenge, and that's where Ruth really helped me out.
You know, and so part of the reason I refer the people that I do is that I work with them and I know that they can do a job and I know they can get it done. And you're also using, I guess, the contractor and the lawyer to close the deal. You know, how did that make you feel?
Yeah, so that was a big factor as well. So I'm not in the real estate game, so I would have no way of vetting people. So it was really important to me to work with people that you know, that you've worked with over time, and you know they can deliver. So that was a big kind of factor of confidence and trust, and ultimately a factor of delivery in my case in all of these different domains: the mortgage, the reno, the purchase itself.
Yeah. So when I referred the contractor to you, you asked me a great question that I wanted you to kind of repeat for the crowd too.
Yeah, absolutely. So the question was, do you get a kickback or do you get a referral fee from the contractor?
Great question.
All right, so very important for me to know how people are getting paid all the way through through all the full set of exchanges that are about to happen, right? In the case of designers and contractors, there's certainly a reputation that a lot of the fees are unseen. So you just want to ask those questions, and you want to understand exactly how people are getting paid and exactly the nature of the relationships between people that are making referrals. Are they getting paid for that, or are they making those referrals sincerely based on trust?
So just so you know, your realtor has to disclose if they're getting referral fees or getting payment from any source. You know, and our philosophy at Think Real Estate is, you know, we don't want to collect any referral fees. We actually want to make our money doing our primary business, which is buying and selling real estate for our clients. And we want the people we refer to make money from their business. And, you know, I think personally, you know, we think it really muddies the waters. And, you know, we want the people we work with to provide absolutely the best service to our clients, because ultimately it's about making sure your needs are taken care of, right?
Absolutely. I know the transparency goes a long way on my end, and it just it bolsters the trust and the professionalism on your side.
Totally. And so, you know, if you're working with a realtor, ask them that question, and if you get like a hum and a haw, watch out. Be careful. So thanks so much, Matt, for helping us out today. Really great to see your place. Can't wait to see what happens. I'm so glad we actually closed on this property.
It was a nail biter, but really appreciate all your help, Paul.
So Jordan's going to talk to Ruth, the mortgage broker, about exactly what happened and give you some great advice if you're in a similar situation.
Okay, we're here with Ruth. And first of all, Ruth, thank you so much for stick handling us through this deal all the way to close. I wish I could say this is the first time that you've pulled a rabbit out of the hat. I think you're probably actually dealing with another one from me right now. But maybe you could tell us a little bit more about this specific deal and maybe also how it relates to the unique situation of separation and divorce and all that kind of thing, because it definitely impacts incomes and therefore mortgages and all that.
Right. So this particular deal we're talking about, you know, I got a last minute, I would say a bit of a panic call to help. It was like the high alert, help, help, help. Not a problem, happy to help.
Right.
You know, I needed a lot of documentation up front, which is what we do regularly. And I think that this particular client wasn't used to that in the forefront.
Right.
And the fact that there was a separation, you know, in play, that's a huge factor when it comes to mortgages, because sometimes that can affect the affordability and the mortgage capacity that your clients are looking to get.
I know that only too well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think in Matt's case, because we only had a very short period of time to kind of put it all together, you know, we had to get documents very quickly, quick communication with both yourself and Paul about the property, and, you know, all hands on deck to get this done. Because it's really not just about me in the office, it's about my underwriters, it's about the bank, their underwriters, getting them on board as well, and really pushing this forward. I'm not going to lie, this was a very stressful deal, but we had an end goal in mind, and honestly, I didn't see anything but like, let's close on Friday.
Right, right. No, we're so lucky to have you, and I wish this was the only occasion, but you know, what we do find, quite frankly, and maybe we can get into it a little bit, is a lot of the time the banks don't really have a lot of this stuff ready to go up front. And that's something that people really need to understand about working with a professional like yourself. A lot of the work is done up front. And so when we go to close, it's just boom, boom, boom. That's why we love working with you, because we know everything's going to be taken care of, less stress for us. But honestly, when we're not working with you, sometimes these wild cards pop up, and it's really, you know, it doesn't make sleeping for us any easier either. And then sometimes a deal will come to you because the bank has dropped the ball, and that's happened on many, many occasions. But it's part of, you know, dealing with professionals like us and professionals like you. But it's really helpful, I think, that people understand that.
Yeah. So documents up front. You know, I talk about this a lot. I like to look at it as the pain up at the front end, right? Let's get all that paperwork in. I'm not going to ask for anything that the bank is not going to need at the end of the day, right? Yeah. So, I mean, I don't want to make more work for everybody, but I definitely want to make the situation as smooth and as timely as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think what people don't understand as well is it actually saves them time working with you, because I remember before I worked with a mortgage agent, I would actually shop my mortgages by going from this bank to this bank to this bank, and every bank had their own paperwork.
Right.
So I was doing my own paperwork for this, and it was crazy, and then, you know, it was a nightmare. So what people really should understand is that you're going to do the paperwork basically once for you. You're going to shop it around, and it's more efficient. You're going to get a better rate. You're not going to get any surprises. And when you do get surprises, Ruth will help figure it out for you. So it's really, really important to understand that.
And it's one credit check. So when you're going from bank to bank to bank, you could be actually
hurting your credit,
lowering your credit score from bank to bank to bank. Whereas with us, it's one credit check. We're going to communicate to you and review with you what's on that credit score.
Right.
And maybe it gives us a little bit of time to say, you know, this needs cleaned up before we close.
Right. I know in my personal separation, I was shocked to find out when I went to do my mortgage, you know, all of a sudden you're minus a massive amount of equity, and then there's support payments and all these things come into it, and then you're surprised, maybe I thought I was going to get this amount, and maybe I only qualify for this amount, and that's something you need to know up front.
Absolutely.
Right.
It can be like a very large car payment going against your mortgage, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that if you are going through a separation, you know, we do need that separation agreement in place. We need to know if there's child support payments that need to be made, if there's spousal support payments that need to be made. It all goes inside of mortgage capacity.
Right, right. Perhaps you could speak more specifically about how actual separation, the monies, how that would maybe work against me in my mortgage or my capacity to get a higher or lower mortgage.
Okay, here's a great way to look at it. We all know that you may have child daycare expenses, clothing expenses, food expenses. But now with the separation agreement, those expenses now become part of the number that we have to use in the liability for your mortgage. So it really can be detrimental to that final number.
Yeah, it's not only just mortgage. What I found out for myself personally is not just mortgage, but line of credit as well, which doesn't allow you to do other things that you want to do, not only with your house, but maybe in your business or what have you. So there's a lot of different impact that separation can have. And of course, I unfortunately have a little bit more experience than I'd like to in that area, but it's really, really important to understand, and working with somebody like Ruth will really, there will be no surprises for you. So that's really
we don't
what
like
you need to know.
surprises.
We don't like surprises, especially when it's coming to close day, and it's coming the next week. Right?
Yeah, it's a little bit tight, especially in the market we've got right now. You know, some of our lenders are 3 weeks to 4 weeks behind in an approval process. And when we're down to the wire where, here, Ruth, here's something on a Monday, we're going to close on a Friday, very difficult, but like I said, all hands on deck.
That's a good point, because people don't realize, unless you've got a really good relationship with key people in the banks are really falling behind now on their paperwork. And things are taking a lot longer to get processed. So I'm sure on this one, there's people probably that you knew specifically that you called, help.
Yes.
I owe you a drink. You know, I don't know.
Yes, it's really good to have great relationships. And I think that's why working with a team works really well as well, because there's a lot of communication that goes on. Everybody's on board to what's abreast in the moment. And we know what's going to happen at the end of the day.
Right. Well, we're so lucky to have you as part of our team.
Thank
You've
you.
saved my bacon more than once, and probably will do so again. All I can say is that please use a mortgage agent. Please use Ruth, because you'll get a better rate, there's less stress, and there's certainly less stress for me, so I appreciate that. So.
I'm definitely happy to help.
Cheers. And it just so happens that if you are going through a separation or divorce process, I actually wrote a book about it.
It's amazing.
Well, thanks. Really to help people deal with some of the issues that we're just talking about, and some issues about selling your house, but really just to get people so that they take a lot of the fear of the unknown, of going through the separation process. So hopefully the lawyers get a little bit less money, and you and your spouse or ex-spouse get to keep a little bit more money for you and the kids. So please feel free to email me, contact me. I hope you found this video hugely helpful. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
For always, and for in the future. No doubt you'll be helping us again. So thanks so much. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment box below, or even more importantly, join us in the future by subscribing. Press that button, and you'll find all kinds of great information. We'll see you soon.